vision. And Mayor Chuck Reed obviously is going to leave a very prominent legacy with his green vision. And if I'm elected, being the new mayor, this is an area that I don't mind expanding on. And I think that incorporating parks into the mayor's green vision is something that I would support. Right now, currently, we have 3,400 acres of open space in the city of San Jose with, like I said earlier, 193 parks in our city. And so with 193 parks serving 1 million people definitely is not adequate. So I would definitely expand on the green vision, do everything we can to have more parks in our city. Again, it could be turnkey parks, neighborhood parks, as long as we actually capitalize and expand on our open space. That would be something that I would completely support.
Thank you. I see some folks looking at watches, and I just remembered I did not mention, there was some confusion about the ending time for this.
10:30.
No later than 11. The plan was for 2 hours to go to 9 o'clock. I believe that's what the candidates understood. The Eventbrite invitation was for 8:30, so we are going to keep going here for a little while. If you have to leave, please do. Actually, I think what I will do now is go to a sort of lightning yes or no round, and just for a brief time, and then we'll see where we are with time. I want to give you all time to wrap up, to tell us whether you will be the mayor who embraces parks and moves them forward. So let's do some yes or no questions. We don't have paddles, unfortunately. So
Yes.
You can put up red, no, blue.
yeah, I don't think everybody has a red now. Let's just say you raise your hands if you're a yes. And if I don't see 5 hands, I'll clarify who's a no. Folks, clear out a little bit. First question. The green print is really a wish list. The state has set up a blue ribbon commission to figure out how to actually achieve its goals of expanding and maintaining its parkland. Would you support setting up a blue ribbon commission to figure out how to actually carry out the green print? Yes or no? Yes?
No response. Yeah, this one's tougher.
Okay.
Well, I mean, yes.
Okay. Do you want to do a quick?
How about 20 seconds?
And let's do a quick round. One or two sentence answer. And I guess we'd start with you.
I would say no, because I've provided the alternative. Allow competitive bidding, you'll bring your costs down and provide more parks.
Dan?
We already have a Parks Commission. Let's use our Parks Commission. I've never been a fan of blue ribbon commissions. They usually don't get much accomplished.
Dave?
I definitely would. I mean, when I was on the city council, and certainly during my time on the board of supervisors and the school board, enlisting the community in these solutions, in the vision, in master planning was everything. And that's what I want to do as mayor of San Jose, is enlist the city of San Jose, every single neighborhood association, every single individual in these kind of processes. There's nothing more fun than that.
Madison?
Well, I just know that I love the parks, but I'm not an expert on parks. So if there are people out there that would love to volunteer their time and let us know what is the appropriate way to actually create more parks in the city of San Jose, I'll be more than happy to listen to their ideas.
And Rose?
Yeah, I'm not sure we need a blue ribbon commission to do that with the Green Print, with the Parks Commission, with other organizations that are already involved. I certainly wouldn't hesitate to create that if after I become mayor, it looks like we need that, but I'm not ready to sign up for it today and say yes.
Okay, let's try this one for yes or no. The city is committed to building dog parks in every planning area, which is not the same as every council district. Some planning areas have a number of them now, and others have none. Are you committed to dogs? Are you committed to fulfilling the commitment to our canine residents? Yes?
My dog would get me if I don't say yes.
Okay. Oh, we're all in favor of dogs here.
Don't ask me.
There are proposals to use the Park Trust Fund as incentives for developers to build and maintain private open space. Others say the money in the Parks Trust Fund should only go toward public parks. Do you support using the Parks Fund to subsidize private open space? Yes or no? Yes? We have 5 no's on that one, I think, okay? There are grants available for parks projects, but the city has to front the money. And sometimes the Parks Department does not have the cash to do that in the particular area where the project is to be built. Would you commit to finding a source of money that parks could use to pay for work that will be reimbursed by outside sources? Yes or no? Yes?
Potentially.
You want to respond to this one? Or?
Sure, if you'd like to. Ms. Sam, why don't you
Yeah, I
go?
mean, that's what construction conveyance tax money is for. It's fungible. We can move around.
Can't be louder.
That's what construction conveyance tax money is for. It's more fungible. We can move it around the city more easily.
Okay, but I gather there is a problem currently that it's not getting moved around. Will you commit to?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to say anything else?
Yes, I mean, it's just a simple yes.
Okay.
I would say yes, and I've supported using money from construction finance for my district to support another project.
And yes, it just depends on what the length of borrowing is, the term.
Riparian corridors. The city currently has a guideline of 100-foot setback from development, for development from creeks in all but a few limited circumstances, downtown, for example, in some areas. Should this be a requirement in law instead of a suggestion that developers negotiate? Should this be an ordinance? Yes or no? 5 yes. See, I thought they were going to want to talk about that one. And one more, actually 2 more questions here. Should San Jose set standards for converting neighborhood-serving parks to regional parks? There's a proposal now, for instance, to put cricket complex at Shady Oaks Park down in the Coyote neighborhood. Should San Jose set some kind of rules for doing this kind of conversion? Yes or no?
Doesn't happen that often.
Doesn't, okay, well, we have this, doesn't happen that often. Might it happen more often? Let's do a 2-sentence. Are you saying yes, Sam?
Yeah, I'm saying yes. Like, I recognize folks don't want to lose their neighborhood park. If there's an opportunity for us to set some rules so everybody knows what the rules are, I think it's helpful.
I think it's subjective. I think it's based on the situation. If so many people are saying this is what we need to have, then I think a political body that's elected can be swayed.
Anybody else want to comment on that?
I say yes, that we should make sure that we have one, that we do have some parameters on it. That's a yes.
Dave?
I'm comfortable taking it one at a time.
Okay. And a question from the audience that I think you can do as a yes or no. Some tennis courts are monopolized for private, for-pay tennis lessons. Do you think this is an appropriate use of public space for profit? And would you change the rules around that? Let's turn that into a positive question. Let's say, do you think it's okay for private tennis lessons to be given on public courts and monopolize them?
Are we assuming they're paying fees?
Well, this is an audience question, so I don't know if the lesson givers are paying fees. In theory, okay.
I don't know, when I was a kid, I used to take tennis lessons at Paul Moore Park. And the lady that taught me to play tennis, I don't know if she paid fees or not, but that's where we met at. But I could see the conflict if someone sort of has a great calling and is taking up all the courts teaching and not allowing anyone else to play.
Yeah, I don't know what the fees, I mean, I think when you have fees, the fees do help support the courts possibly, but I do think you have to have a reasonable, amount of time open for the public to be able to use it, so.
Anyway, Sam, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I mean, same as Rose. Look, we should create opportunities to generate fees so we can maintain our parks because we know they need lots of resources and we don't have enough now. As long as we constrain the time to ensure that the public has access, it should be enough.
Dave, did you want to?
Yeah, to offer a worded question. some rules that prohibit that, if that's what's happening.
Well, thank you. I think we're at a point where we need to give our candidates 2 minutes to wrap up and tell us. I bet nobody's going to say, I'm not going to care about Parks as mayor. Tell us why you will be the best mayor for Parks. And why don't we start with, well, let's start with Madison. Go ahead.
Let me just stand up for this part. Well, first of all, thank you again for being here and for listening to us for the last hour and a half. I love the park. And the reason why I love parks is because I feel like it's the only amenity that I had when I was a little girl growing up in a very poor family, that nothing prevents me from having that. And now being a mother of a 2-year-old, I want the same thing for her. I want to guide and lead a city where my daughter and every child in this city can have access to public parks, and a safe park, that is. And so it's not just a political want, it's a personal need and a personal desire that I want her to have, and for every child. And so you will see that if you elect me as your mayor, is to go out there and really advocate, do what we can to have more open space in our city, to allow our kids and our elderly population to have access to these tremendous amenities that we have. We live in such a prosperous city, a city that people around the globe are so envy of. And to live in a city where we don't have access to public parks, I think is almost like a tragedy. I have situations right now on Communications Hill where we build this stairways and everyone is coming to exercise, and we're getting numerous complaints from our neighbors every day. We never knew that this is going to pose a problem. It's a good problem to have, but I don't think that anybody who lives on Communications Hill agree with me. But I like to have that kind of open space in every neighborhood where people don't have to go very far to appreciate what they have right there in their backyard. And so that's the kind of mayor that I will be, someone who is not just talking about and rhetoric about being a proponent park, but someone who's going to put that in action. Thank you so much for your time.
Rose?
Well, thank you, especially those of you who have stayed for listening to us, and I appreciate the opportunity to be in front of you. You know, parks are really important for our mental health, for our physical well-being. You know, I was fortunate enough to grow up and be able to have access to green space. I want to make sure that everyone in this city does, that they can walk within 10 minutes to get to some green space where they can enjoy that peace of mind. Green space is not only important for those reasons, but also for economic development. When somebody comes to our city to decide if they want to be in a city, they ask, where's the school, where's the library, and where's the park? Parks are really, really critical for that too. And we need to make sure that we have that. In my history at being on council, I've not only supported parks, but I have fought to make sure that they stayed around when they were in jeopardy. Lake Cunningham is an example. And I've also worked really hard when we needed to bring an amenity, softball fields to a location where we hadn't had them before, and when it was the right location for the city. I fought for those softball fields and worked with developers to get a donation of land. So I'm not somebody who just talks about it. I actually make things happen with our parks and with other things in terms of economic development. As your mayor, I will have a great vision. I'll join you and support your vision, because I know that a lot of the folks in this room have a lot of expertise in parks, and a lot of you are advocates and have fought hard for it. I would like you to join with me as mayor, and let's make this city a vision of the best parks of any city in the country.
So for you, the park advocates, I'm going to ask that you continue the charge of making parks relevant, because there's a good chunk of the community that doesn't utilize our parks. They have private recreation, they do what they want, but they never step foot. And it's different than a library where we can actually count how many people come from the door and how many people check out a book, but parks is a little bit more difficult. We know at different stages of our life we utilize them more, but I think that's what we need to keep current, because we're here to provide a service to everybody, and that one of those is your parks department. And for all of you that have traveled, you know that parks and open space bring a level of sophistication to a city. They bring these beautiful points, opportunities where they really beautify an area, and I think that's what we have to look at when we're designing these parks, to how nice and pretty can we make it. I think that's important. I have never voted for a single housing development that's been exempt from park fees. I voted against every single one of them. And you know what? Now when I'm going for fundraising donations, I'm not getting those donations. But that's what, you have to take a stand. Is it okay for some communities not to have a park versus other communities do? And when we passed up on all these fees, we missed up on the opportunities for providing more open space. And I think we need to, as again, we might be faced with doing a partial tax to pay for some of that we lost. On the other quotient, I've been very outspoken that I just truly believe that competitive bidding with a private company to do the maintenance stretches our dollars further so that we can have more quality parks maintained, and we can also have more parks, because we made a mistake. We had money that we could have been building parks, but we chose not to because we didn't have the maintenance dollars to do it. If we had just went full board and done the competitive bidding, we could have built those parks and had the same dollars to maintain much more acreage. And that'll be my tenure on the city council, is trying to provide you the most bang for your buck, and I hope you'll select me as your mayor.
Sam?
Well, I want to thank many people in this room who I know have been longstanding advocates for parks and open space and trails. Collectively, there's probably 1,000 years of experience, and that's not just because you're all old. There's a lot of experience in this room, and I know I've seen many of you week after week at City Hall and in lengthy meetings, and I appreciate the energy and persistence of many of the people in this room, and I thank you for it. As we experience great cities, we think about how it is we remember those cities. And we don't generally experience them moving 45 miles an hour down an expressway, chained to a steering wheel of a car. We experience great cities on foot, in our parks, in our paseos, our plazas, our trails. That is the pedestrian experience that defines what is great about cities for us. That's where we encounter a farmer's market. That's where we see a guitarist playing outdoors as we're sitting in a nearby outdoor cafe. That's where we see our friends or we meet new ones. This is what will make San Jose great. It's an opportunity to create vibrant public spaces here in our city. Not just in our downtown, but in every urban village, every neighborhood. The opportunity to bring us all outdoors to enjoy 300 days of sunshine a year. Parks, of course, also enable us to leverage the extraordinary creativity and energy of our community, as so many of you have demonstrated, to create great opportunities of civic pride. We see it just outside the door here at Parque de los Pobladores, where we see art and our parks merging. Certainly, just last week, we celebrated an effort I worked very hard on with Rotary to launch Rotary Children's Play Garden, fully accessible to children, right in Guadalupe Park. We see it in opportunities like in Bakesto Park, where the Luna Park Art Festival now brings thousands of people every year. These are great opportunities for our community. I will be the mayor that will expand those opportunities for everyone. I hope you'll join the Sierra Club and California League of Conservation Voters in supporting me.
Thank you. Sometimes old is good. I'll tell you, I worked at the school board level from 1990 through to 2000. We're talking about this key relationship right in the general plan between schools and the city of San Jose. I understand that relationship from both sides. I went on to the city council. I learned how to work with people on the school board. We built the first new high school in Silicon Valley, Evergreen Valley High School. First one built in 25 years. I think the last one built. And we did that with community involvement. The entire master plan for that school was devised by community participation. So when I got on the city council and I was told we didn't have enough money to build any one park, we started to cobble together money, like I was telling you about in the first question, setting aside reserve accounts. And then we brought the community in. We started working with the community neighborhood by neighborhood by neighborhood. So there became a Fowler Creek Park, and a Falls Creek Park, and a Hillstone Park, and a revamped Groesbeck Park, and so on and so forth. And then we did community meetings all the way along the Thompson Creek Trail with people meeting after meeting after meeting. I like that work. As mayor of San Jose, I will meet you where you are. We will master plan parks in the city together. You will have the opportunity to do that once again, working together once again with the mayor of San Jose and the city council to master plan and build the kind of parks that you want, not the kind of parks that the general plan says, or some other plan says, or that the mayor's office staff says, or that the Parks Commission says, but the kind of parks that you want. That's the kind of city that I stand for, a city that works together, and I think we can work together again. I think this can be the kind of a city that's one of the greatest, most extraordinary big cities in the country, but feels like a small town when it comes to these kind of issues, because you're all involved. Please vote for me as mayor of San Jose and give me that opportunity to work with you once again.
Thank you all very much. Mayor Chapman would like to come to the podium. Several people.
On behalf of the San Jose Parks Advocates, we have a little present for you. If you wouldn't mind holding it so the audience can see. But it actually says, yes, here we go. 8 ways parks can improve your health. So we thought you could enjoy a little night reading tonight. Thank you.
When's the movie coming out on the book?
Yeah, my plan is